Hello, my name is Jason, and I am the creator of Steps Inside 2. I'm a neonatal nurse of 25 years, an NRP instructor for over 10 years, and unit educator for our special care nursery, our PEDS pavilion, with also a background in maternal child health as an educator. I'm hoping to utilize my knowledge and experience to help bring simulations to the next level. Steps Inside 2 is a local offline friendly simulation controller built for Inside 2 clinical training. So the idea is one facilitator can run a scenario from a host screen while learners interact with realistic bedside information on separate devices. Keeping everything on a local network means that you don't need to have your program linked into the company's internet or needing for Wi-Fi access. All you need is one router, like a little $30 router, and you can connect all your different tablets to that router. Everything stays on a local network so it can work in a classroom, simulation lab, or actual care spaces without the need of cloud connections. Steps Inside 2 runs from a Windows operating system on a host tablet. I use a Surface Tab, but it can be run on any desktop computer. This here, we're going to start with the simulation launcher screen, and I'm going to give a quick demo of how you would set up these different monitors. I've created a QR code generator which displays the IP addresses on each individual device, so it makes it easy for you just to scan the QR code on, say, your iPad or your tablet or your phone for active scripts, and as long as you're on the same network as the host monitor, you will be able to interact seamlessly. So the host monitor is, of course, the controller monitor. A lot of times it is run from where the program is run off of. The bedside monitor, this is the patient monitor, displays oxygen settings, warmer, suction for the neonatal world, assessment values. The auxiliary monitor, this is for EKGs, imaging, lab results, or other scenario materials. The actor script, this gives a phone-friendly cue cards and scripts for standardized patients, parents, family members, or staff colleagues. For example, for a simple demo, or the host and the bedside monitor are enough, or for a richer scenario experience, you can add auxiliary displays, actor scripts. So I'm going to go back out and I'm going to talk a little bit about the different programming modes. You have a neonatal manual mode. This is more freeform for neonatal simulations. If I click on it, it gives you a nice display of what the bedside monitor will see here. You can actually change the displays. So if I hit start, I can change that, and of course you apply your settings. Same for the saturation. So we can change stuff. And yes, this looks a little bit janky here. I'm working on trying to get a solid representation. But if I go over to the vitals monitor, what's important is that they see a nice solid rhythm strip. So on the fly, we can change anything. If I watch the team obtain a blood pressure, I would just hit cycle blood pressure, and depending on what I've dialed in here, would show up on theirs down here at the bottom. So without getting into too many details, I'm going to go back to the main screen here, and we're going to talk next a little bit about neonatal scenarios. Selecting a scenario gives the facilitator a synopsis beyond the before the launch, so you kind of see what you're dealing with before you select it. Moving on, Mother Baby Rescue Series. This is designed for short, high-yield scenarios on the Mother Baby unit. These focus on early recognition, stabilization, escalation, communication, and teamwork. So really the goal is to allow for the Mother Baby team to act quick, call in proper resources if needed, Interdisciplinary, interdepartmental simulations are really a wonderful way to bring units together. And then the Pediatric Rescue Series, this expands on the same interface into pediatric workflows. It can support procedural simulations, tabletop discussions, depending on the case design. So the tabletop option is useful because the same system can be supported discussion-based workflows and not just a full procedural mock code. So for this, I think I'm gonna do a quick demo of a scenario and go over the different screens. So for this, I'm going to use pressure rising because I do like to show off what this can do. So launching a scenario will bring you a whole new screen that gives you a little synopsis, allows you to toggle modifiers. I'm going to go over this interface a little bit. The AppGuard timer is great for delivery room, which also the bedside monitor has the ability to start AppGuard timer. The scenario timer is always starts once the scenario starts. So the manual vitals, this you can at any time during a scenario toggle manual vital signs if you want to go down a different pathway. But going back to scenario controls, a lot of times I just stick with the scenario controls. We're going to talk a little bit about the difficulty modifiers. Here is a toggle that can change the scenario for each situation. So you can target whatever objectives that you really want to work on. So social interactions, this is if you want to target working on how do we handle families that are very anxious. And then diagnostic modifiers, so sometimes the transilluminator is missing when you need it. ABGs can be available on request only, incorrect initial interpretations. These are all just modifiers that change the scenario and how it rolls out. So once I have this, since I did talk a little bit about family presence anxious, once you select that and you've scanned your phone, the phone will actually give you this lineup. Gives the actor or actress a little bit of cues of how they're going to behave for this situation. Auxiliary monitor, and here's the bedside monitor. So the bedside monitor here is what the learners see. They can tweak things up and down, they can set whatever they want, they can set their warmer level, and they can start and reset their AppGuard timer. They can turn the oxygen flow rate up and the FiO2 up, and this will reflect on the host controls. So you can see here 14 liters and 30%. They can activate wall suction, they can activate the radiant warmer. They have interactions that will affect the scenario. So we're going to start here. We give a report on the infant to the staff, and they can see on their monitors already started their EKG, their strips. This sets the stage for how they are going to interact. So they have their bedside oxygen, they've received a report, and they've confirmed everything is accurate. The actor script's already started, so the mom's at the bedside and she's anxious. So she gets to ask questions during report. Why do they need all those lines? They can interrupt. It gives them free form of what they want to do to either disrupt or collaborate. Moving on to the next step, they didn't address family concerns, so notice up here the family anxiety increased, and if you go over to the acting scripts, they're now seeing that the monitor keeps beeping. Why is no one worried? So what I'm doing here is I'm following along with what the team is doing. They're discussing x-ray needs, and I would read this out to the team. So we're going to jump back over here. See, the monitor has changed. The scenario logic is showing that this patient is decompensating. And the actor script is reflecting what is going on in real time. So the worsening bradycardia, they're intubating the patient, and we're going to address the family concerns. Once they've ventilation troubleshot, we can move on to the next. And then no improvements. This is all objective based. So if they suspect a pneumothorax, we just click along. We will request an x-ray. Let's see if this popped up. Aha, our x-ray has popped up. And this is what it looks like. And if you look down here, this gives you a reading of it. Please ignore that there's no umbilical lines. I had a little trouble generating this image. So ABG results, we can also see that on the auxiliary monitor. This is our blood gas results for this situation. Doesn't look too good. Looks like we're having a little respiratory distress. And if we want to compare it with an earlier results, we can see that it is definitely getting worse. So we're going to prepare to decompress, and the family is getting concerned, so we're addressing that. Let's go over here and see what the family's thinking right now. Oh, look, they're looking like they're a little bit more calm because we're addressing their concerns and they're asking appropriate questions. So the team is getting ready to assist with the chest tube and reassessing the patient. Infant is stabilizing after. Let's go over here and we will look at the vitals bedside monitor. Looking at the bedside monitor here, they're definitely a lot better than they were before. And we're sitting at 40% oxygen. Whoa, our flow rate's a little low for TPs, which is what we use at our facility. So we're going to increase that flow a little bit. And then increase some oxygen, even though we are above target. And look at how our saturations improve even higher. So we have real-time responses on what happens when you increase oxygen. Preparing for NICU management. They get a blood sugar and it looks okay. As you can see down here, your blood sugar results come up there. Auxiliary monitor, and providing our structured handoff and team debrief. And our transition is complete. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the debriefing. You're going to notice here a little timer is because we can get a little long-winded when we're debriefing our staff. So it helps us keep in check. It gives you open-ended questions to help you along. It also keeps track of all the steps that you potentially have missed or did not do. So when you debrief, you can touch on those and you don't miss out on any opportunity. Each scenario has their own individualized important pearls of knowledge talking about that specific scenario. So we're going to return back to the main page, and that about concludes this demo of this program. I hope you liked it, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at jasonstubsinsci2@gmail.com. Thank you.